Button. Hey everybody, welcome to the Harvard Live Show. It is definitely not 5:30. We're a little late today,
It's not
but
even 5:32.
it's not even 5:32, which was going to be the new time for the show. But guess what? I'm here. Dave's here. We're gonna have another guest in a moment. Is that a brand new Deca hoodie?
Yes. It's TAC Ruck Division. What's it? Tactical 6, Titan 6.
Come on, Dave.
I'm
You were
terrible
just
with the names.
you were there with those people all weekend.
Yeah, I know. And I got a hoodie.
It's a nice hoodie.
It's a really nice hoodie.
This
Actually,
is
it looks
my
really good.
this is my favorite hoodie. This is LSKD, which is an Australian brand, but they do have a USA brand. And I've worn this,
Ooh.
I think, pretty much every day this winter. Can you tell what this says?
No, not at all.
I forgot what it says too, but it looks really cool.
There you go.
Jackson really wants it, and I might get him one if he's good. He's like, Dad, I really like that hoodie. Because he's almost got to the point where he doesn't automatically lose everything we give him. It used to be like no matter what you gave him, he went to school and it never came back.
Yeah.
So he's gotten a little bit better. But let's make sure what's up with our guest. Come on, guest. It says you've seen it. It says seen just now. Let's do this. Let's make sure it's working. Are we working?
I think so.
Okay. Dave, speaking of Deca, guess what?
What?
I found something that Deca does better than HYROX.
There's a few things they do better than HYROX. There's a lot they don't, but there's a few they do.
All right. I found one.
What's that?
I did a PFT, and compared to a Deca gym event, it is not as good. And it could be.
Yes, it could be.
For a lot of reasons. Have you been to one?
Yeah, I've done a few. I've done quite a few.
Okay.
I love them. I think they're great, but they're not taken seriously enough.
Well, okay, so that's the thing. So I'm going to break it down, my experience. So, and I think it'll definitely. Oh, Heather and Brendan say we're both working, so fantastic. Love you, Heather. Love you, Brendan. Welcome to the show. So, let's check one more time on our guest. All right, he's seen it. It has said he has seen it, so it's on him for not being able to figure it out. So, I had not been to one. I've seen them, and we get emails here in Atlanta that are supposed to be my regional events.
Yeah.
But all I ever get is Florida events. So there's a Florida Run Club, there's a Florida PFT. So finally Atlanta has some gyms. And so I got an email, and there was one in Macon, which is 2 hours away. There's one in fucking almost Tennessee, 2 hours away. So it's like, finally I get one Sandy Springs, 30 minutes away. And I go to register from the email, and the first thing it does is it takes me to the gym's website. And the gym is called ISI. Have you heard of ISI?
I don't think so.
Neither had I. But there was a couple of them. ISI Sandy Springs, ISI that. And I go look, and it looks like just kind of your new standardy franchise gym.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing special, whatever. But I messaged the people. Oh, so I go to the link. I hit register, and it takes me to their website. And I'm like, okay, this isn't right, because I'd gone to another link, and it took me to a pft.hyrox.com website, not the main HYROX, but so I messaged the lady, or turns out it's the lady. Hey, I'm trying to register. It's taking me to your website. I don't think that's what you want. So she sends me the link directly, and then I register. This is important. I want to tell you this when I get there. So it says starts at 10 o'clock. Perfect. Don't have to get up too early.
Yep.
Drive up there, sent Clayton the link. Clayton and I are going to do it together. And, sure enough, there it is. Big new, gym in the middle of a strip mall, ISI, green and whatever. And there's a lady at the door. Hey, welcome. Thanks for coming. She's got a iPad in her hand. She's like, give me your name. I give her my name. And she's like, do you sign up on our website? I'm like, no, I signed up through HYROX. She's like, okay, well, we'll have to sign you on. We'll have to sign you in. Let me get your name and your email. So I was like, they want my name and email anyway. They want to blast me with stuff. That's fine.
Yeah.
Then I go to the front desk, and the woman recognizes me. Hey, I got you. You're good. I'm like, okay, cool. And they're like, but you still have to fill out these 2 things. And I was like, you have now turned me off, right? As a customer, right? So they're like, here's a QR, fill out these 2 QR codes, right?
Okay.
Which is like the worst thing you want to do to people. Like, I've given you my information. And one was for HYROX, who also already has my information. So, okay, there's the lockers. We're about to start. You know, you can stretch for a little bit, whatever. And again, so like they're welcoming. There were other coaches that worked there that were super welcoming. And I look at the workout, which I hadn't really looked at before. And it's like, okay, you're gonna run 1,000 meters. So, and it said specifically on the thing outside. So like to warn people that it's cold. And then you're gonna do
50 burpees,
50 burpee broad jumps.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna do 100 lunges.
Yep.
Then you're gonna do, some places it's a row. For us, it was erg, which I was fine with.
The original one is the row, but or ski or whatever.
Right. Then you're gonna do 30 hand release push-ups.
Yep.
Then you're gonna do 100 wall balls.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this looks pretty cool. So, but I look around and I kind of notice like there's a few judges, and I'm like, nobody's holding a clipboard. Nobody's holding a counter.
No.
And I'm like, so who's going to count our burpee broad jumps? Because on that little track, I'm gonna go up and down a couple times and forget where I was.
Yeah.
And the one judge was like, oh, well, do you need someone to count? Are you like going for a record or something? I was like, no, I need someone to count. Like, I'm gonna run out. I'm like, 100 lunges? Like, I'm gonna forget. So, and then the guy said, most people do it between 22 and 35 minutes. And my immediate thought was, it's going to take me longer than 35 minutes.
Yeah.
I think we have a new person. There he is. Grayson.
Hey,
buddy.
I figured it out. I'm here.
Good job, buddy. I'm in the middle of my story about my first PFT.
Grayson, it's complicated. I don't blame you. It's tricky.
Okay, I'm here. Go ahead.
Welcome to the show. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna count them. We're gonna count the reps ourselves. That's fine. So, we're like the fourth. Clayton and I are in the fourth. Oh, and he goes, oh, and there's the running clock. And I remember thinking like, well, if there's 4 waves and I'm in the 4th wave, running clock really doesn't help me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we do the thing, right? We start the thing. We get to the burpee broad jumps, and I kind of realize, okay, I did 5 one way and then 5 back. So there's 10. So I just have to do this 5 times. However, on the 4th time, I was like, I don't know if this is the 3rd or the 4th. I think it's the 4th, right? It's pretty easy to mess these things up, right?
Yeah.
Lunges, I was doing deca lunges. I was doing reverse lunges because it's so habit, and it didn't occur to me until I'd done about 30 of them. There was a guy next to me who kept stepping forward, and I was like, and it took me a minute. I just haven't really done, like, walking lunges are forward lunges, right? Anyway, so this was my genius idea for getting my 100 lunges. I was like, I'm just going to turn 45. Is it 45 degrees?
Could be
45, 90, 180. Yeah. Or is that?
No, you're right. You're right.
I thought of it like a clock.
Yes.
If I just go north, south, east, west, when I get around all the way around, I will have done 100, right?
Okay.
But that was pretty genius. And then hand release push-ups pretty easy to count. And then I did some pretty lousy wall balls. And it took me 45 minutes. And I'm fine that it took me 45 minutes.
Mhm.
But I called Mark and Lauren and I was like, hey, is it always like this? Because I don't think this is really that great. And they're like, yes and no. They're like, we told people from the beginning, this is more of a, thank you, Brendan, 90 degrees. This is a community workout. And like, more than like, hey, here's your mark, right? This is how they said they explain it. They said, hey, this is a chance for us to together and work out a little taste of HYROX. But if you want this gold patch, here are the 3 patches. This gold patch, we're definitely going to count your reps and we'll help you do that. Right. So I think maybe that's why that one guy said that. And I talked to David. Oh, you're going to show me your gold patch, you fucking braggart?
Yeah, silver one here.
Oh, okay. Good job. Grayson, I think, could get a gold.
Oh, in his sleep.
Yeah.
David, who I know from a long time ago, he's like the new Mark and Lauren for Georgia. He explained it at the beginning, and he's the one who said 45 minutes. And I gave him this piece of advice afterwards. I said, here's how I would say it. I don't want to tell you how to do your job, but how I would say it is, hey, here's the 3 patches, 22 minutes, 36 minutes, 38 minutes, and everything over 38 is bronze. And hey, everyone's going to leave with a patch today. And that's what Mark and Lauren said you should do. He just goes like, yeah, it's probably going to take you between 25 and 35. Because my first thought is, I know it's going to take me longer. And if I'm off the couch, now I'm really in my head. Because then I'm like, oh, am I doing it wrong? Should I cheat the reps to get this thing done? It's just a setup for failure. So hopefully he took my advice. He said he agreed. He goes, yeah, that's probably better. But they didn't stress the part about it's like, hey, this is a WOD and count your own reps, and it's kind of not a big deal. I really went into it looking like a DECA. And then the other piece was, Lauren said like, yeah, they kind of are more concerned about getting email addresses. Like that seems to be HYROX's focus is customer acquisition. So here's what I think, David. I think you could still and I looked at the leaderboard, right?
Oh.
And there was a 14.5 minute one, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, could Ronco do this in 14 minutes? Like I remember like thinking like me and Clayton were having lunch after we were doing the math. I was like, let me see how long it would take Ronco to do this. And I was looking at his runs and trying to figure out if he could actually do it. So it doesn't have to be the DECA style build to a world championship, but you can still have real times and real judges and a leaderboard that means something. Don't you think, Dave? Well, it doesn't have to be one or the other.
You can make it a legit competition. Okay, so when the HYROX PFT first came out, and you can go look on the website, there is exact layout of how to have it. And so, for example, it is run 1,000 meters. It is 50 broad jump burpees. However, the burpees are supposed to be done across 2 lines, 90 centimeters apart, and back and forth and back and forth. That's how the burpee broad jumps are supposed to be done.
We went down and back.
Yeah, that's not how they're supposed to be done. Then,
which, by the way, really quickly, it also is counterproductive because I realized the 5 and 5 were pretty small jumps. If I made massive jumps, it would have been 3.5. Yeah. Which is what you would do in the race. You want the bigger jumps, but I was doing smaller jumps because I wanted to keep the count easier. But go ahead.
The 90 centimeter one takes longer because you are turning every time. Every jump you're turning back and forth. So it's 90 centimeters across. Then there's the front lunges. It's supposed to be front forward lunges, 100 of those. Then you're into the 1,000 meters on the rower. And then you're into 50 hand release push-ups. I love hand release push-ups.
We did 30, I think.
Sorry, 30, right? 30 hand release push-ups. My problem with it is the worst judged thing ever. I'm sure Grayson could probably attribute, he trains a lot of people. Most people come in and most people's push-ups are shit.
Well, the hand release makes you have to hit the ground. It's the lunges,
but they worm their way up.
On the top side, on the top end.
On the top side, they worm their way up, or they don't. And that's fine. That's fine. But so when you're doing
hang on, let's stop here because this is a hybrid fitness show. Let's talk fitness, Grayson.
Yeah.
If I worm my way up, my hands still have to do the work. A lunge I could cheat, and a wall ball I can cheat. Mm-hmm. The whole point of hand release is my chest has to hit, right?
Sure. I think
What?
If you're doing a ram burpee, I might worm my way up. But when you see someone do a push up, there's a conversation about locking out at the top, and because your scapula is going to do a lot. And if you watch, I was a wrestler for 9 years. If you watch like wrestler push-ups, a lot of times it's a lot of this, and you can actually like rock your. Can you see that? You can rock your shoulder back. So this looks like
I'm just
I've
so
done
jealous. Ladies and
That's
gentlemen,
different than
audio
this.
listeners, there's a delt popping out there. I mean, if you're podcast listeners, you can't see this gorgeous specimen of Grayson Kilgore.
He's gonna go full Hiller with the shirt off soon.
I mean, wow.
That was not my intention. I'm just saying you can.
I know, but that's how beautiful you are. That your muscles just pop everywhere.
It's got awkward.
Oh
Way to make it awkward, Matt.
Yeah. I'm done demonstrating anything on the show.
All right.
But yeah, your scapulas can do a lot in a push-up to change the range of motion. People know that.
Well, I know people. I see people do the chicken, right?
Yeah.
On the
Ooh, yeah.
push-ups. So they're getting no depth, right? That's what most people do, right? So to me, I thought the hitting the ground was the taking away the.
That helps a lot, and that's what the hand release does. However, that only fixes one problem in a lot of people's push-ups. The other problem is, and for example, when I'm doing push-ups, if I'm doing push-ups the way I think they should be do, my hips never touch the ground. It's my toes, my hands, my chest touches the ground, I hand release, and I push back up, and I am constantly in that position, constantly a straight line, rather than worm my way up, then pick my butt up, if they do it at all. And you'll see some people, when they come down, they'll put their feet up in the air and then rock their body up, and that's the problem. Anyway, that's the problem.
There's a difference between racing and training, right?
Correct.
If I'm training, my push-ups are going to be dialed. If I'm racing, I'm doing anything Ugly Dave allows me to do to win.
Exactly, and that's why so few competitions use push-ups.
Exactly.
Right. But anyway,
but like there was a woman doing the burpee broad jumps who, the kick out part of the burpee where you actually don't drop your body at all.
Yeah,
that's what she was doing, and I was like, all right, like, and there's judges walking around like helping a little bit with form and stuff. Again, these are nice people, good judges, but if the point is to not do that and just let people finish it, then fine. Or maybe she doesn't know that's how you do it. Maybe she's never done a burpee broad jump, right? So she just doesn't know. And like, because again, some people, that kick burpee thing that people do, that kick back thing that people do. Now, again, this is from someone whose wall balls were so bad, I was embarrassed that he shared them. Like he shared it like on the thing, and they were my last 10, and pretty lousy. And I was like, I'm not resharing this because it's like I can take some criticism of like, Matt, those are lousy reps, but I was like, there's no way I'm putting this out there. They're way too bad.
Did the judge call them no reps?
They were beautiful. No, of course not.
They're beautiful.
There was not a no rep called anywhere. Yeah. So again, if it's just about getting people to get a taste of HYROX, that's fine. And give out a patch, but don't write down. They're like, oh, and I wrote down the time on a card and gave it to them. It's like, I don't know if they're putting that somewhere. I just think there's a better way to do it.
So my original point was that there is a very good design.
Rye Claxton just texted, maybe they should make I showed up patches. That's possible. You made it.
Good patch.
You got it out of, listen, you beat all the, like, what do we say? DNF
beat everybody
DNF,
on the couch.
Right? You beat everybody on the couch.
My original point was that HYROX went to the work to make this workout, to make standards, to make a proper layout. And now they've just kind of abandoned. And that's why I think it's such a waste opportunity, because I think it's a good workout. And I think for gyms, it's really handy because all you really need, you're only limited by your amount of rowers and your amount of wall ball spots. And they can filter a lot of people through and do a lot of cool stuff with it. And make some great competitions.
So, and here was the other thing, right? I remember thinking like, okay, there's no judges because they didn't have that many and we got to get through a ton of people. But then when I finished and there was like one dude after me that was still finishing, this big, huge dude, who finished after me, but I think started at whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is like, oh, so we were done. Like we started at 10, we were done at like 11:30. So they could have. So before I called Mark and Lauren, I actually called Ian K. And I said, hey, what are they like over there? And he said, oh, well, Tom and Dina did them at their gym, and they did it really well and really smartly. And he said what they did was pair us up, which is even smarter. He's like, so if Dave, I do it with you, I follow you around and count your reps, then you turn around and do it with me. So you do, and you obviously you could still cheat if your buddy wants to, whatever, but it's a great, you could pair up strangers that way, make it more community, but at least, you know what I'm saying? So they clearly were like in at 10, out at 12, like, no, you know what I mean? So again, if it's just a workout, then hey man, we're not going to kill you on reps, guys. We just want you to have a good time, but just do your best. I just feel like if you want that to be at that, and just get rid of the stupid leaderboard. Because that's the other thing, is that I thought mine was free because they wanted to get people. Apparently all PFTs are free. But if you're a gym, no, PFTs should be free. If you put on an event, like I'm going to put on a HYROX or a whatever, an ergs only, you can charge, but PFTs are supposed to be free.
I didn't know that.
Neither did I. I've actually, every PFT I've seen has been a paid for event.
Okay. You got
now, I have seen them done really well. I think one off the top of my head, one of the first ones I'd done was with Adam DeJong. He has an affiliate out here, and he also does. He does quite a bit of HYROX races. Anyway, his was done well. We went out there. We each had our own judge. They counted properly. They called no reps when you were bad. They were forgiving to a certain extent, but they did. It was well run. They had your time. Like they had stopwatches. Everything was really well done. So I've been to ones that are done properly. His in particular.
Yeah, if I had paid for it, I might have thought about it differently. But
so they just let you walk in the gym and do the workout.
Mark and Lawrence, but you sign up, so you have a spot, right?
Okay.
But yeah,
I'd rather pay $30 and have it done right.
Me too. And again, this gym, as nice as it was, I don't know. Like they tried to get some people to sign up afterwards. Like they hit up my buddy Clayton, like, hey, do you want to join the gym? But to me, it's like I don't know who starts these things, but if you're going to buy a franchise, why not buy one that people know? Why not buy an F45 or something? Because the name of this gym is ISI. Do you know what ISI stands for?
No.
Iron sharpens iron, which was also written inside on the gym. And I remember seeing it and thinking it was a cool sign, and I still didn't know what ISI stood for. Until later on, I think Clayton said, oh, I think that's what it stands for. So again, like they were great. I'm glad I went. Guy Dave, who was there with me, awesome dude. He's going to help grow it in Atlanta. But yeah, I did not leave, again. And the other piece, because it was this like kind of franchisee gym, like when you go to the Decas I've been to felt like a community event because they were, owner operator gyms who, you know what I mean? Who it just had more of that feel than you're walking in our McGym and doing this event.
Because Grayson is there coaching you along and doing all the.
No, their coaches were fine. The coaches were coaching and supportive. It's funny, when I got to my wall balls, I was taking a break. Well, first of all, they said, hey, for the men, it's 14 pounds, but if there isn't any, if you only have 2, so if you show up, we have 10s and 12s, you might have to do a 12. And I remember when I got to my wall balls, I was fucking praying for that 12. And I did not. I got a 14. But what I did was Clayton and I started swapping out, like taking breaks, which was actually really good, right? We just kind of like but then there was a guy kind of standing there and he was like, how many more do you have left? And I realized he worked there and I was like, do you want to help me count? And then he was great. He was super helpful. He did that thing where like I'd throw, I'd drop, and he'd be like, okay, 10, 9, or maybe 15, whatever he started with, right? He was great. And the coaches themselves, they're all good people is what I'm saying. But just I left there thinking, oh wow, Deca does something better than HYROX. What else do you think? Because Dave said, we started, Grayson. I said I found one thing that Deca does better, and Dave's like, I found a lot of things they do better. So what else do they do better?
Qualification system for world championships.
How is that better?
Because HYROX is still crap. I love HYROX completely, but you cannot tell me the qualification is good. Are we talking
good? Are we talking about what up your voice there, Dave? Are we talking about because there's not enough spots?
No.
What are you talking about?
The 2 race average thing, it's still shite.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
That's no good. The qualifications for age groups is no good because you'll go to an event, you won't know till 2 days before if there's even a spot for you to take.
Okay.
And sometimes they're split between pro and open. So you might become second place in pro in your age group and not get a spot to worlds because first place in open got one.
Okay. All right.
It's crap.
Okay. What else?
What else? The course layout being consistent.
They didn't hire you full time.
They didn't hire me full time. The course layout being consistent. Right.
We get a 100% correct from Dave, from Cheryl, and 100% better from TT Sports.
I'm preaching, baby.
Tanya also said there's just big differences. How gyms get infos from the brand, how the brand's interested in gyms, or only to get them signed being affiliates. My opinion, it's experience. But here's the thing, like both can do both better, right? Like just because DECA does what it does better, they could still have really good big events, but they just don't.
They could do a lot better.
I'm just saying if someone were to say like, yeah, but you know, the DECA isn't really about the big events. They just put on, it's about, you know, the smaller ones. It's like, you can do both. You can be good at two things.
You can do both. You absolutely can do both. And that's what I say. And that's why I think the way HYROX treats the PFT is such a missed opportunity.
Right.
I think they have something that they could do great and they're not doing anything with it, which I think is disappointing.
And I think for me, I think it's because they just sort of, because they growing so fast in all these countries, putting on these events, they kind of just never really nurtured it correctly. Like Lauren and Mark did this really good job of going on the gym tours. Like they literally put on the first however many 100 PFTs. They went to the gym. They were like, do you guys know what HYROX is? No? Cool. I'm going to tell you. And they like, all that was great, but then they didn't do the next piece. And kind of like once Lauren was gone, they just like, all right, we have this thing, get people to come, sign them up, whatever. And we still don't know what they're doing with their ecosystem. We have 5,000 clubs, but we don't know what that means, and we also don't know what it means if you pay to be a part of their system, because everywhere you go, there's a gym sponsored event. Every town has their own gym sponsored event.
Grayson, are you an affiliate for HYROX?
Not yet. No.
Not yet.
With DECA, yeah.
Yeah. So have you done the PFT before?
I've not done a PFT. Just started learning about it recently. I host a ton of events out of our gym, running a hybrid competitor camp all the time. And local athletes are constantly looking for challenges like this. So I would agree with Dave. I think there's a lot of opportunity here. And I know that myself and our team of volunteer judges within our own gym are pretty strict about how we judge and creating really quality competitions within our own space. And I think a lot of that comes from myself and other people in our group who are high-level competitors. I think if you want to compete at a high level, you want quality standards across the board. So it's easy for a gym, I think, that has competitive leadership to train judges that are interested in doing the job right. So I want to get a PFT going in my gym. We do HYROX simulations all the time. People. But
do you want to? So do you want to pay $100 a month for the right to put on a PFT when you could just do your own HYROX sims for free?
Yeah, it depends. You know, I haven't looked entirely into what all that entails. I know there's some advantages for gyms, certainly. Being an affiliate with DECA has been a significant advantage for me and for my gym. So I would not be opposed to paying that price point at all, depending on what it generates. And for energy and opportunity.
There seems to be some bennies. Really quickly, want to add, MJL Senior says, late to the stream, Dave's PFT, that's Dave Makita, not Dave Claxton, or Dave Letterman, at Elevate DC was free and very well run. Time, reps counted. They should all be. AFAIK, I assume, is, as far as I'm concerned, even though concerned is with a C, the same way AFK means away from the keyboard. Anyway, go ahead.
That's not a big surprise. I mean, Dave is huge in HYROX.
Well, he was just sort of tying the thing together of like, should it cost and be judged, or free and not so great? And he's saying free and judged. So,
it could be both.
There you go. No, I'm being serious though, Grayson. Like, do you think, to me, the DECA piece is they look at it as you're going to be found on the internet for people looking to learn what DECA is and be coached about. And you can make a little bit of money with these events and supposedly get new members based on the people that show up. That's what I think their initial takeaways were. What are your takeaways? If I said to you, hey man, I own a gym, I live a state away from you or 5 towns away from you, Grayson, what are my bennies? What do you use it for? Why are you getting so much value for it?
For my DECA affiliate?
Yes. No. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, the opportunity to host events and high quality events. We have a lot of people who are looking for a high level competitive experience. That's the thing that I'm actually most passionate about in my work is I want to create opportunities for people to compete. If you know anything about my philosophy as a coach or as a racer, I'm tired of people pretending like our most athletic days and our glory days are behind us.
Me too.
I think our best days are right now. They're right
Let's
in front
go.
of us. So if you give me a chance to talk, I'm going to tell you we have a competitor in us and it wants to come out. And I'm going to create an environment and an opportunity for that to happen. So the DECA affiliate gives me the opportunity to let my people compete and see their name on a global leaderboard. I think that global leaderboard is really significant. People want that. And then it gives us an opportunity to qualify and actually go to an event where my very important age group teams and age group athletes can now feel like they're fighting for a world championship or seeing how they stack up globally. And I don't care. I don't care if there's payouts. I don't care what the prize money looks like. What I care about is my people get a chance to compete, and I'm excited about that. So DECA has given that to me. I've experienced that personally, and they've given that to my athletes as well.
Do you get new members out of it?
Yeah, all the time. And my business is unique, right? I am not the owner of the gym. I work at the gym, Epoch Training Center. It's the only DECA affiliate in Boise. And I get new athletes on my roster all of the time because of DECA.
And it's Boise, not Boise?
Yeah, Boise. Yeah. I get new athletes on my roster all the time.
You're just as far up as Dave is in Canada. You're way up there.
I'm way up there, yeah. It's cold up here.
It's still like a 6-hour drive.
In Idaho, you're way up there. So
I got one thing, Matt. I would say this right off the hop. If I owned a gym, I would absolutely get a HYROX affiliation. 100%.
Because you think you need it to get people who want interested in HYROX?
I think for $100 a month, I need to get one person for it to be worthwhile.
Okay.
And it's going to be because
I think that's what it costs. By the way, somebody correct me.
I know for a fact it is in that realm. Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, it's pretty much a one person thing. It's pretty much a one person membership is going to cover it, and that's going to allow you to blast your HYROX banner everywhere, to brand on with them, to be on their search engine, to have them support you. They'll share your social media, and let's be honest, like their brand is massive right now. So it's huge. So yes, I would absolutely I would have a DECA affiliate too, but I would absolutely get the HYROX.
But do they share? I remember once upon a time, all DECA shared was their affiliates until I was like, are you guys ever going to post anything? And then
but I'm talking about HYROX right now.
But does HYROX do that though? Does HYROX say, here's our latest gyms?
I know HYROX Canada does. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think HYROX USA does.
Yeah. HYROX Canada will share that. And they'll share your posts as well.
They're in the emails, but I don't know that HYROX USA does a lot of here's our latest. Again, somebody correct me.
In my mind right now, the name is worth that one member. I guarantee you that name is going to get you one member, and that should pay for it.
I can tell you right now, there's not a single.
And then if you do host a PFT or a HYROX or anything like that, right?
Maybe in stories,
you can charge for it.
Maybe in stories, there's not a single post. All the posts are very. It looks like the HYROX world stuff. Just a lot of cool. Cool registrations open. Atlanta sold out, by the way. Didn't sell out right away, but it's sold out. Does anybody know if any New York categories already sold out?
Oh, probably.
I don't know yet. Hey, speaking of things being sold out, I think one of the benefits of being an affiliate is that you get priority registration for your athletes, or you get that. I think what is that? Where you get like early registration?
Yes, but except. If you know anybody, you can kind of get one. right? Like you get a
Sure.
code, but that code gets shared out pretty quick, and that's why these England events sell out in pre-reg before they even go out because there's so
Sure.
many gyms. So I think they're gonna have to change something about that at
But
some
here's
point.
Matt. Here's what's happening right now. I live in Boise, Idaho. HYROX is not going to come to my city, right? Do you know how many people are reaching out to me about HYROX every day? I'm getting like 3 or 4 people a day from Boise. HYROX is not coming here. People are so excited about it, and they don't know the systems at all. They don't know that they can go out and find the code. So who do you talk to? You talk to me. I'm your guy. If you're interested in HYROX, you find me, and I'm going to help you find your way to an event. I'm going to tell you our team is going to this event and that event. Here's where we're staying. So the benefit to an affiliate is say, yeah, we're affiliated with HYROX, we're affiliated with DECA. Now you're a part of the system, and we can get you to a race with this opportunity for priority registration. And even someone who's new to HYROX, they're going to come to me and say, should I do open or should I do pro? Because it's a big, scary event, right? It's massive. So being known as the HYROX person in your city is a pretty big deal.
It's
As far as I know, not as far as I'm concerned.
there you go.
Says MJL Senior. What's your actual name, MJL? All right. What else, anything else we want to say about HYROX PFT before we move on to Dave did DECA Atlas for the first time, or DECA Atlas Ruck or something?
Oh yeah. I just made that up, man. That was just me. I did a DECA Atlas, which it was still not quite officially launched yet, but so still testing and everything. And I did it with the ruck on, and wow, that hurt. Skipping with a 30-pound ruck on is not pleasant.
Oof.
That is that was a new thing. I hadn't tried it, and I went right into it. I'm like, my shoulders, like my traps were sore the next day just from the bag crashing down 100 times. But it was
are we seeing it? Are we seeing it in the categories though of people putting on events?
Not yet. It's coming in the new. It's coming. I'm gonna guess February-ish.
Okay, so you can't even put it on if you own a gym. You can't put it on.
You could. So Grayson could go out there and he could put on an unofficial one where it's, hey, we're giving this a tester.
No, but on the website,
there's no leaderboard, no sign up for it on the website. But I would think that is coming fairly soon.
Okay.
Very heavy. Yeah, it was very heavy.
All right. The next item I have is Tia does HYROX because we haven't spoken since that happened, Dave. And I want to dovetail that into two things. One, Proven now has HYROX training as part of their programming. And B, Proven, the big gym, the home gym in Tennessee, is putting on a PFT, speaking of PFT, on February 15th, which I might go to just to be around the magic of Proven. What do you think, Dave?
Well,
and Grayson, by the way, and Grayson. Let's start with
two different things. I guess first thing is Tia doing her HYROX, and I think that's fantastic. I think it was great. I think they put in her and James put in the race I thought they would put in. They were right around the time I thought they'd be, and they're amazing athletes. They're fantastic. It's nothing but good for HYROX. It's more promotion. It's more promotion for the sport. Hopefully, it helps to ease a bit of tension between CrossFit people and HYROX people, which I still don't completely understand, but they're standoffish anytime it's something different. So hopefully that kind of shows some CrossFit people, hey, yeah, it's okay. It's all right. You're not cheating on somebody. You're allowed to come do this and still be a CrossFitter. It's okay. It's fine. So I think that's great from that standpoint. And I enjoyed it. I watched some of her content on it. It was great. It was good content. It was nicely done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Grace, did you get to watch it and check it out?
Yeah, I've watched just about all of it. It's so interesting to me. This is like, we're talking about the fittest woman on earth, right? One of the fittest women on earth coming over to HYROX. That's incredibly exciting to me. I loved her energy. I loved the way that it's a really good sign if the fittest woman on earth comes to an event and loves it, loves the environment, loves the people. She's walking around saying like, this looks cool. She was excited to get into the race. She was excited after the race. That is a really good sign for HYROX. And I was watching, she had a couple other videos out there. I think there was one with a title that said like, why I'm leaving CrossFit for HYROX. I think
little clickbait.
And it's not what the video was about. Tia was not saying she's doing that, but I think that's at least, even though it is kind of clickbaity, it's good energy to say, hey, the best in the world has tried it. She likes it. Great for HYROX, great for us, good for the fitness community across the board.
And her pointing out like how hard it was. how much of
Yeah.
an effort it was to do.
Hmm.
You know, and if T is saying that it is hard, and the rest of the CrossFit world has to recognize, yeah, it's not a walk in the park. If you want to do it and you want to do it fast, it's gonna hurt.
Well, she's
Yeah.
probably the greatest runner in CrossFit, right? I
Well,
mean,
she when the last games, I mean, she won the mile.
yeah.
She usually is right up there with any running. When they did the compromise run in the Rogue Invitational, she won that.
Mhm.
So yeah, she would probably be one of the best runners, if not the best.
I have held off. I agree with everything you guys said. I have held off. I keep thinking about putting out a video where I talk about the problem with CrossFit. Unfortunately, why they're wrong is they're zealots, and nobody likes a zealot of anything, right? Religion, politics. We have the right way to do it, and the rest of you guys don't. And that's the problem I have with CrossFit. That's really kind of what I've boiled it down to. Watching comments, looking at Savan and Hiller, and plus, I know this isn't everybody in CrossFit, but this overriding thing of we invented fitness and we invented community. I had this thought of making a short film, and I might do it if I ever get the fucking money and the time. If I showed like 20 people, men, women, people of all sizes, and they started saying things like, this place makes me feel safer than any place I've ever felt. I've gotten more friends out of this than I ever could. I met my wife here. I did things I never thought I could. And say, what group am I talking about? What do they do? Right?
Yeah.
Could be a football team. It could be a fucking book club.
Pickleball.
It really could, though, right?
Yeah.
We've seen it in OCR a million times. But CrossFit fucking really thinks, no, we did this. Like we're a fitness community, and CrossFit's the only way to get fit for anything in life. And it's like, no, it's not, dude.
No,
And
and not all of CrossFit thinks that way, but yes, there are.
But I'm saying, but
a
that's
large
the
number of people who
overriding
feel that way.
thing. And yeah, fucking HYROX is just running in circles, and it's like we don't. Nobody in HYROX thinks HYROX is the only way to do fitness.
No.
Most of the people in in Spartan racing don't think that's the only way to get fit, and that's my problem with that. The overall argument that they have is that, well, we're solving the world's biggest problem. It's like, yeah, I bet so is any physical thing would say, yes, Joe thinks he's solving the world's biggest problem, right? They phrased it that way because their god Glassman phrased it that way. But Joe says ripping 5 million people off the couch. What's the difference? Rant over.
Hey, I think you're going to find that anywhere. And I think the CrossFit has a large reach and a big voice, but you could find the smallest little church in your local town, and you're going to find people in that space that are going to think we've got it all right. And the church next door, which believes something maybe like half a deviation different than what I believe, is completely wrong, right? So I think you're going to find that anywhere.
But I'm saying, but there are people that have found that in their church, that sense of community, that still don't think, but we're the only way. And if you don't believe what I believe, you're an idiot. But that's what, and again, I hate to just pick on it being like Hiller and Savan, but they are like kind of the leaders of that. And if you read comments, that's just what a lot of it is, dude.
Sure, man. I've chosen, I want to be a person with different energy than that. I think if you've got a voice here, you could sit here and say like, let's get in this fight. And I'm going to say like, I don't really care if CrossFit thinks they invented community, because I know I've got community where I go, and I know we're doing a lot of the same things. So if we're talking about DECA, we're talking about HYROX, I don't care what we're talking about. I'm going to create some positive energy and community, passion for racing.
Can I call you every morning, Grayson, and get this dose of positivity? Because I definitely lean in the really cynical, angry side.
Yeah. And I think, man, honestly, if you're doing that, you're going to get caught up in that argument, and there's going to be people who are legitimately trying to get you there so you watch their content, right? Like they're taking that angle to get your attention, to get you all spun up.
See? And that's, dude, and you're totally right. And like, that's like, and I think maybe that's why it makes me mad sometimes personally, because this is me speaking personally, because like I'm in the content space. And
Yeah.
like I said, I've thought about making this video and now I'm not going to. Thank you for reminding me. I don't need to make it because yeah, who's the highest paid guy in ESPN? It's Stephen A. Smith. And he's just a different version of that. And it's like, well, maybe he doesn't even believe all that. Maybe Stephen A. Smith doesn't believe everything he says. Maybe Hiller doesn't believe everything he says. It's like, that doesn't matter. The point is, like, that's what they're putting out there. And it's the low hanging, because look, it's working on me. I'm getting all worked up. So thank you for reminding me to just focus on being positive.
Can I know you don't like to do this, Matt, but can I address something in the comments?
You can do it once in a while. Just don't do everyone. Obviously, right. Yes. Which one would you like?
All right. So right now we got Todd and we got.
Oh, they're arguing about whether Tia should be a top 20 athlete.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now why I will not put Tia in my top 20. And it is because when I'm voting for people, I'm voting for the top 20 hybrid racers, because I think hybrid athlete is too wide a thing to try to define. It's too hard of a thing to measure, whereas the top 20 hybrid racers is something that I can put into there. So my pool of information to bring of Tia is she has done one doubles event in which she came third. And in my mind, that does not put her into the top 20 women of hybrid racers. And that's it.
Okay. And that's fantastic. Dave, I definitely love we can address some comments. It was just, there was a while there you were like, get that one. And you were distracting me.
I like to talk to everybody.
Yeah, so we'll have a lot more time to talk about Tia. I want to talk about the World Fitness Project.
Okay, wait, okay, because you did ask two questions about Tia and we only answered one.
Oh, okay.
You asked about how did we feel about her racing and how that went, and we were all very positive about that. Then it was, how do we feel about her instantly opening hybrid training? And to me, everybody's got a right to do it. That's cool. That's fine, especially if she's made an affiliate. That's great. It is a little cringy to me that it was like, I ran my race. Here's my training program. I'm like, oh, it's not terrible. And yes, we all know she's absolutely freaking amazing. And she knows fitness as well as anybody in the world. But it's just, it did strike me as a little bit of a cringy, but that's all. I mean, that's as far as I'll go on. It was just a little, come on. A little opportunistic, if you will.
But see,
I think it's a great move on her part.
Brilliant. Smart business, man.
Brilliant.
To me, it's because she's Tia and because I just feel like she gets a pass. I don't know. Maybe if someone lesser did it, I would think so. Like, I certainly don't think less than the 1,800 other people in my feed that are
and they make me cringe too.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to be a hybrid racer.
Here's the difference, though, and I think this is the point you're getting to. Tia could look at HYROX and say, I know how to write a training plan for that event. She's that good.
Yeah.
She's experienced that many races. I have no doubt that she could write a training plan as good as anybody. So I think Matt, you're saying she gets a pass on that one. I think that's kind of true. There's probably not very many multi-sport races out there that she could not write a great training plan for. So brilliant move on her part, just connecting with a different side of the market. If I was her, I would for sure do that.
No, and it's sound business and it's smart. And like I said, I'm not going to harbor this horrible grudge about it or anything like that. It's just when it came out so fast, I was just like, ugh. But
they clearly had it. Like they started making the content.
Plan. Let's make the program here. I go do my run race. Let's launch the program.
I mean, didn't
whatever.
Because didn't what's her name start doing it too? And she did her first, and now she's done a few or done a couple.
Christy O'Connell.
Yeah, Christy did the same thing.
Yeah. And so did people like Diaz. He, as soon as it came out and he noticed it was popular, great running coach, and he's like, okay, here's programs how to do it. And that's cool. It just.
Yeah, I'm not gonna list names, but I know of a lot of really high level OCR hybrid coaches coaching people in the HYROX space that have never even done a HYROX. So I think it comes down to like I know some coaches, some OCR guys, some runners. They could look at HYROX and say, I know how to write a training program for that, not because they've done it, but because honestly, the majority of the people that are looking for a training plan can really benefit from a lot of the same things. You need to build your engine. You need to be resilient against a high level of reps, and you need to become a more efficient runner when compromised. So most people looking for an entry level plan into HYROX, it's pretty simple. Comes down to consistency and maybe doing those three things.
Yeah, and I am glad that she did go to the, like you said, you talk about coaches who have not even partaken in one. She did go to the trouble. She did do one. She's probably coming back and doing more. So, like I said, my initial reaction was a little bit of a cringe from it, but it's not something that I get all hyped up about. I just wanted to say, because Matt, that was part of the question that Matt asked, so I wanted to make sure we answered it. And Todd in the comments,
Yes, sir.
dude, you and I need to have a chat offline because I would love to chat with you. You got some great stuff.
Yeah, Todd. I think we can talk about that the next time the rankings come out, though. The next
Okay.
time, which might be
Todd,
next
make
week.
sure you listen to that because I'd love to chat with you.
Okay. Can we talk about more fitness? Can we talk about the World Fitness Project?
Yeah.
So, Dave, do you want to explain what it is first?
They're trying to steal everyone from CrossFit.
There you go.
No, what it is it's and I'm sorry I don't have everybody's name down, so I'll just say a group of people have gotten together and they've made essentially a not a series, but there's going to be 3 events where they're used to accumulate points in order to get to a finale and win it. So they're actually doing something that we thought Spartan should have done ages ago, where they're signing 20 individuals to compete against each other, and then there's another 20 below them trying to fight for a chance to get, almost like a Premier League in soccer, trying to get up into the pro ranks. And then these people,
Challengers
they're calling, and they're trying to get into the final. They have paid the athletes for a year-long contract, which I think is fantastic because this is giving these athletes some steady income. And it's essentially, they're saying that they are working not with CrossFit, not against CrossFit, but just alongside with, and they want to, essentially they want to give athletes more options and more ways to make a living doing CrossFit, not doing CrossFit, because they're not calling what they're doing CrossFit, but doing fitness competitions. And I think it's fantastic. And from what I'm hearing, the layout, I like it. I think it sounds good. I hope they're very successful.
So yeah, you can go to their Instagram page and you will see all the athletes they're signing, which is essentially the
Great
top
names.
20, the top 20 from the games, basically, right?
They say they have a system where it's actually they're kind of going by Rogue Invitational's ranking system,
Right.
loosely, and going through that and then combining it with a bit of other stuff. And then they're also taking a few people who they're just inviting who they feel should be a part of it.
Did they
and then
say
that'll only be for this year? Then next year it'll go off of 2025's seasonal points, will dictate who is involved in 2026.
Right. And did they mention what or when about events?
I heard May, and then August, September, and like August or September around there, and then December.
So, Grayson, what were your thoughts?
Man, looking at it from the competitor side of things, opportunity of access is really cool to me. The idea that there's going to be challengers, there's going to be online workouts and fitness challenges as well. I think that's pretty cool. It sounds like it's going to be fun to watch. I think that matters. But if you look at, I mean, you're talking to a nobody who may always be a nobody that really wants to compete at the highest level, right? So if you're talking about challengers, if you're talking about online workouts and the opportunity to prove yourself to get into a spot, I don't know the actual, we don't know how the points, we don't know the workouts, we don't know how it's going to be biased quite yet. But if it actually gives like real access to real challengers, that sounds fun to me. Like that sounds exciting to watch. That sounds like a great opportunity to watch a guy like Justin Medeiros, who's been around for a long time, have to defend his spot against a new person coming in. I like that. I like that a lot. That's like the competitor in me saying like, let me gain 50 pounds and get in there in that challenger spot. I can't do that. I can't snatch a bar over my head, but at least from the competitive side of things, cool idea.
From watching it too, what it does for me is it's always exciting to watch the top 5, 3, 10. That's great. That's always exciting. But now this is going to make watching the bottom 5 or 15 to 20 exciting too, because just like you
Super
say,
exciting.
People snapping at their heels and getting every point will matter. Again, like you said, we don't know the layout of everything, but I'm assuming every point's going to matter. So it creates more of an interest in watching the entire roster of athletes and how they're doing. and you're picking favorite athletes who you up and comers and you want to see make it into the big game, right? So I think it's going to be really good. I think it can exist alongside CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think that if it grows, then eventually it's going to come to a head where athletes are going to have to decide between one or the other and prioritize between the game schedule and the World Fitness Project schedule, because from what I'm hearing is the World Fitness Project may expand from 3 events to 5. It's going to be a lot harder to do both. I mean, yourself, right? To try to prep to be truly prepared for an event, you can't do one every other weekend. You gotta build to it. So do you think that's going to cause a head-to-head eventually?
Yeah, well, let's loop back to one of Tia's videos. I was just watching in her post HYROX training video, she was talking about the Rogue Invitational and mentioning, man, she wishes at a different time of year because it's kind of smack in the middle of her off season, and that makes periodization in her training really challenging. So yeah, as the space, I don't want to say cluttered because I think more events is a good thing in the fitness world. But as there's more events out there, I think there's going to be more specialization.
Well, just adding to it, right? I mean, now you're having.
Hang on 1 second. I tried to sneak away to grab this cord, and then the cord is in my fucking car. So keep talking. I'll be right back.
We were doing that anyway. So I think now the athletes, they're going to have obviously the game schedule with the Open, the semifinals, the games themselves. You're going to have Wodapalooza. You're going to have Rogue Invitational. You're going to have things like Crash Crucible, NorCal Classic, all that stuff. And then you're going to have the 3 events from the World Fitness Project. It's just giving the athletes not just chances to make more money for prize money when they go to these events, but more constant exposure. And the more constant exposure they get out there, the more their sponsors are going to be happy. The more their fans online and Instagram are going to be happy. The more followers are going to have, the more they're going to build their own brands. So I just think from a perspective of 1, a fan, and 2, the athletes, if they do a good job on this, it's a win. And they're sounding like they're doing it right.
Well, and think about the CrossFit Games. We talk about qualification systems all the time. Do you remember all the drama from the CrossFit Games this year? When we're talking about it was Sydney Wells who didn't make it into the CrossFit Games. Colton, how do you say Colton's last name? Mertens, right? We're talking about established athletes who did not qualify for the thing that supplies their livelihood, right? So those people, if they get an opportunity to compete in these other events, they're going to prioritize those other events.
Well, and I mean, you're talking with the Wells. I mean, we go back to that whole thing. It was the online thing, and some people are judged, some people are not, and everybody's getting dinged for doing box step ups and just having their head looking down. Which I get it. It's in the standard, and I'm a believer in the rules. But if you can't judge everybody, it's so hard to hit somebody so hard.
Totally.
So I mean, that's another broken system that needs fixing. I don't know how to fix that one because it is so large. I don't know how you get around it.
Yeah, I don't either.
But
I do think. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, but still, more opportunities for the athletes. I'm all for. I think it's fantastic, and I think they look like they're going to do a good job.
Everybody,
he's back.
Oh my goodness. So my biggest question was like, so who's funding it, right? Like, where is this money coming from?
So they have investors, right?
Yeah. So apparently, Spin did a whole thing on it where, so Will Morad is the guy that's behind it, and apparently, apparently, his parents or his wife's parents, like they're connected to people who are putting the money behind it. In terms of contracts, when I interviewed Alex Kazan, she was like, we're not talking a ton of money. So the top guys, right? Like Justin, you mentioned, is probably more than say Alex, right? Or some of the lower, right? People who didn't finish as highly. And to me, it has all the earmarkings of any brand new sports league, right? Any, like, hey, we've got a new football league. We're trying to compete with the NFL, and here's why we're going to be great. And we have the passion, we have some money, and we think there's a fan base and all those things, which means it could be amazing or it could be done in 1 year.
Yeah.
Because the people that spend the money
Mhm.
go, oh, we didn't get rich in 1 year, or oh, we really thought we were going to get this sponsorship. People keep saying, the thing that people keep throwing out in CrossFit is like, oh, well, it could just be like Live, and then they just merge. And it's like, yeah, that's a lot different. Like Live had gazillions of dollars, and so they could literally
Mhm.
pick anybody they wanted from the golf tour. You're not going to get Tia year in, year out for not a ton of money unless she retires from professional
Sure.
CrossFit or the games. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I hope it works. All the reasons you guys were talking about all look super cool, but to me, it feels very much like any startup league that makes it 1 or 2 years, and because it's really hard. It's really hard to
Yeah.
do.
But the ones that succeed have that same feeling too.
No, I'm
You know,
just I'm
You know
I'm
what I mean?
not.
Like when HYROX started out, it had that same, okay, here's a startup race. They're getting a couple hundred people out of an event, but some of them do get that home run. And like you say, it could be exactly what you say. It could be a one and done. But from what I've heard in interviews, the investors apparently understand this is not going to make a bunch of money
They
right.
always say that, but
They
that's
always say
also
that.
because I think they think, well, but yes, but we know Nike is about to write us a big check. That's why we're going to be fine.
What I do like though is the investors are in the community. They understand what's going on. They know what CrossFit is. They know what fitness is. They're part of it. So they're not going into this blind. They're not just blind investors who are like, here's $10,000 in 6 years. We want 50,000 back.
Right.
So they
That's
know
the
what's
part,
going on.
Dave. That's the part that caught my attention first and foremost. When you read through the list of athletes that are signed, and you look at some of the best CrossFit athletes in the world, my first thought was, there's a conversation here we don't know about yet. There's a level of trust
Mhm.
between Tia and whoever's funding this thing and whoever's putting this thing on, where if a Justin Medeiros, if a Tia is going to sign their name to this thing, I think there's a conversation we haven't seen. There's a level of trust that I assume would have to be there for a high level athlete like that to jump into a startup.
Listen. I'm not saying this is done in 2 years. I'm just saying it feels like that because I've just been around long enough to know that all the passion in the world and all a decent amount of seed money in the world isn't Bezos money.
Yeah.
Like if it was that, like I said, like Live, like was either going to steal everybody away or the PGA was going to figure out a way to merge them. This could be super cool, and you're going to compete with the one brand that everybody knows, the CrossFit Games. It couldn't come at a better time when kind of like the morale, right? The QR scores, whatever you call it, of CrossFit are in the toilet. But obviously they trust Will and these people behind it. But again, we also know that athletes will say yes to, you're going to give me money and fly me to the event. I'm in. So that's all. I'm not saying it's definitely going to die in 2 years. I'm just saying it feels a lot like any startup NFL league that could do great or could be gone in 2 years.
So what was the last startup that you saw happen where you thought, yep, this one's great, and didn't have that feel? Because to me, they all have that feel. Even the ones that succeed in the beginning.
Well,
they
I mean,
all have
early
that
on
feel.
HYROX, we felt really good about it.
When they were only drawing like 400 people over here, there was a lot of skepticism. There was a lot of wondering.
Well, again, comparing HYROX isn't the same thing, because HYROX wasn't, we're gonna bring we're gonna hire a bunch of events.
Yeah,
we're gonna hire a bunch of athletes to come. But
No,
no,
it's just
I think we felt pretty good about HYROX because it was already big over in the UK and Europe.
Well, no, it hit here before UK. It was going on in Europe, but it hit here before UK. Anyway,
HYROX did the same thing when they first came here. They sent a message to every Spartan Pro athlete and said, "Hey, here's a free race entry. Come to our inaugural event here in the United States."
Yeah, it was right. It was like wait and see. I mean, I looked at my video from Chicago HYROX 2020, and I'm interviewing Faye Stenning and these other people, and all we're talking about is, hey, wasn't this a nice change of pace? We weren't saying like, we think this is going to be the next big thing. So I wouldn't compare it to HYROX. Again, I would only compare it to more like the XFL, or like the women are trying a new basketball league. Like, yeah, I hope it works out, but who knows?
Yeah, it could go either way. I'm of the hopeful for the athletes and for the fans that it does work out, because that just gives us more to watch and more opportunity.
Right, but they haven't even announced an event yet. Like you guys got to get on these things.
But neither has CrossFit. Like,
No, but
when's their
CrossFit
event?
has 15 years of putting on events, though.
Yeah, I know, and you'd think that they would be able to announce their events ahead of schedule when they haven't even laid out completely this year's season, how it's going to work.
No, they launched. They said here's if you're in the Northeast, you're going to go to Syndicate. That stuff.
What's the date the Open starts?
Oh yeah, well then they should get around to that. Yeah.
Yeah, they should. And then the other events, it was very interesting where some of them are regional, some of them are not regional. Dude, it's all over the map right now.
Yeah,
their ducks are not in a row.
The one that said we're gonna gatekeep, or what did they say? We're gonna regional fence it.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
But that one, they came out and said it. I thought, isn't there a nicer way to say it? You're basically like you're making like that's the worst way you could say it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but we're not asking, do they do a better job at this than CrossFit? The answer was, what do we feel about this new fitness league that has a lot of money? And by the way, I've been emailing them trying to get them on the show, and they've gone on all the other CrossFit podcasts, which I would expect I would not get the first call back. But I want to ask them a lot of questions. But yeah, we'll see. But no, obviously they've got. I mean, to get everybody to say yes, like you said, there's clearly something going on that we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly the trust is there, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even if it's 1 year and these athletes get some money for 1 year and we get some cool shit to watch for 1 year, great. Fantastic.
But I feel like I've done a bad job. I feel like you're saying I'm poo-pooing it. I'm not poo-pooing it.
Yeah, well, Grayson's trying to uplift you and you're still bogged down in what is it? The swamp of sadness. You're Atreyu losing the horse. It's just Grayson's pulling you, and you're dying in the swamp of sadness.
The way that my screen lines up, we've got Matt way over here on the left, and me on the right, and Dave right in the middle with all the logic, and me with the unbearable positivity. So I think it works out in terms.
I'm going to put you closer to me, so I feel more of your positivity.
There we go.
I actually really try to be. I really do try to be positive, though. I really do.
Yeah.
No, Anyway, as far as the league goes, I think probably if you had asked them, they probably would have waited another year. But opportunity, like you said, Matt, is really hot right now for them. So they said, let's jump in now,
right,
and make it happen.
Well, even I was just trying to look up their like mission statement or their vision statement, and it's something about people first, right? So that is as much as they could ever want to say, we're not trying to be anything against CrossFit. Their vision statement is basically a statement that is in a way kind of trying to be the opposite of what people have projected CrossFit to be in the last couple of years. So it is I don't want to say opportunistic, but the timing is right where the entire community is looking for something else, and their vision statement, their mission statement about being people first is kind of posturing themselves to be like the thing if you're looking for a life raft out of CrossFit.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, I gotta go.
Me too.
Fine, you guys can leave. I'll sit here. I'll answer all the questions.
No, you won't.
I'll totally do that. I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes answering questions. Now, listen, we got a late start today, and I know you guys asked to jump off early, so thanks for jumping on. Dave, go listen to Dave every Tuesday?
Thursday.
Every Thursday, you can listen to Dave on the OFX podcast. And Grayson, if you want to train with Grayson's amazing teeth and amazing positivity, I didn't mention the teeth. Marcus did that.
Oh, okay.
World champion Grayson Kilgore.
Did you real quickly? Did you win the weekend? I think you won the weekend, right?
Yeah. I said, man. Kevin and I were just texting about that, and I'm gonna say, yeah, of course I did. I think in terms of dollars that Spartan will owe me, I think I won the weekend. And
you like first, second, or what was your weekend?
Second in the fit, second in the mile, first and world record in co-ed fit, and then I think we podiumed in the co-ed mile, and then I blew up hard in the strong. There was a point in the strong, I looked over at Ryland to my left and saw his numbers, and I looked at Kevin to my right, and I thought, I'm gonna win. We were getting off the skier and I was like, I just won the strong, it's mine. And then I cramped from my waistband to my shoulder and dropped my dumbbells. I've never dropped a 60-pound dumbbell in my life.
I
So
was
I kind of
watching it and I thought his
Yeah.
shoulder popped out.
Yeah, just like my shoulders. It was weird because when the cramp went up to my tricep, it actually opened my hand. So I was trying to like
Audio
hold.
audience, he's flexing his massive biceps and triceps and pectoral muscles once
Oh
again.
man.
Yeah, when I
Uh,
saw that happen, I was looking straight at Grayson as he was picking up that dumbbell, started his farmer carry, and I thought that shoulder popped out. I thought, oh god. I was in my head. It was like, do we got the medic guy ready? Like,
Well, I was trying to. I had a.
So
I
what
had
was
a
your position
mild.
in the strong? Just what did you finish in the strong? Fourth.
Yeah.
So second, fourth in this individual, and then a
Mhm.
couple of wins in teams.
Yeah. 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 A good weekend for me.
it was good.
All right, listen, Grayson, will you come back on the show because you're a really good guest?
Sure, I'd love to.
All right, so you guys.